Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and today it's finally time for a new horror review, which I haven't made in quite a while. Yeah, I just figured I should make a review of this film before I forget about it, because that's just what happens sometimes when you watch so many films that you kind of forget about them. But today's review is going to be of the film called Merchants of Death. Which is also apparently known as BORN with like dots between them, like born. It stands for something I don't really remember. Damn, these goddamn bottles! I need to get rid of them. Well, now you completely lost track here. I think born stands for something particular in this film, like some because it's like body organs, whatever. That gets like a body organ replacement network. That's what it says on the back. Um, this one is basically about, like you could probably tell, about people that are making these like criminal acts by kidnapping people and taking their organs just for the case of getting paid by other people that really desperately need a new organ or something like that. So that's sort of like the main bad guys in the film. So the bad guys, or like the villains in the film, are played by William Smith, who kind of shows up in some of these films in general. He has a very distinctive voice, and he's really fun in this one. Maybe not fun is a proper word, but I think he's good in this one. And it also has PJ Souls, that is like also pretty much high up in this hierarchy in this company, that this illegal company. And you also get Clint Howard and his father, I believe, Rance Howard, I believe his name is. Yeah, Rance Howard. Rance Howard is sort of like this guy who really just wants to benefit this all from himself, because he's not really a part of this company. But he's into some shady business, and he feels like he's just in for it himself and for the money. So he has like contacts with the main heroes and also the villains of the film. So the film pretty much starts like there's one lady who gets like some sort of seizure, I believe, on the beach, and apparently some sort of like heart attack or something. So she desperately need like a heart or something, a heart transplant, whatever, something like that. And then you don't really see too much of those two characters anymore, but you basically then just move right into this facility, or like where they do all these weird transplantations and whatever. This one also has, forgot to say about that, but this one also has Clint Howard in it, and Clint Howard is a very interesting character in this one. He's sort of like much lower down in the hierarchy of this company. He's sort of like doubting what it's actually doing right or wrong. It's sort of like an ethical or moral type of storyline for him. That's should I really do this? Well, I'm going to do this anyway. And then he's just kind of like thinking about like quitting this job or whatever. So I thought his character is probably one of the more interesting characters in the entire film. Um, and the main actors, I mean the main hero characters, he's played by Ross Hagen, who was also the director of this. So he teams up with his buddy cop buddy cop, his buddy that is also a cop. I believe his name is Hoke Howell, I believe is the name of the actor. I don't remember the name of the character, but I believe the main actor, Ross Hagen, who also directed this, his character's name was Buck or something. Um, Buck, was it Buck? I think it was Buck or something. If you, yeah, Buck Cassidy. That's, I used to have the on the IMDb page as well. So it pretty much starts all out like that, like I mentioned before. But then also his three daughters, I believe there were three daughters, get they all get kidnapped by this company. So just for their organs to be stolen, basically. And they don't really care if there's any casualties. They're just after the organs themselves, so they're in grave danger. And once he realizes this, that his daughters, that they are kidnapped, he's kind of like trying to start his own investigation with his friend, and they're trying like spying on people like through their van and whatever. But the weirdest thing about this one is that once he, I believe it's like once when he's realized that one of his daughters has died, it's sort of like this really long montage of like really sad type of music. I really like this song and the that plays around the around that time, and it's also playing in the end credits. But it's supposed to be a really sad type of scene. But the problem is that the main, I mean, surprisingly, the two main hero characters in this film, they are just so unlikable and not really interesting at all. which is quite interesting because you would think that he's gonna like try to get a hold of these like save his daughters, but for some weird reason, as they are kidnapped, he's like having fun with his body, and they're drinking beers, and they're like hanging around like in some pool area or whatever. And I'm like, why would I care about that character when he doesn't even care about his daughter even like more than that? But like, come on, your daughters are kidnapped. Do something about it. So that's really the downside of this film. And I would also say that the first like 20 to 25 minutes is more like an intro type of deal, like to explain for the viewer as to what type of organization this really is, like the illegal organization. So it's kind of slow in the first part of the film, but it gets better and better the longer into the film you get. And towards like the last half of the film is pretty action packed and pretty interesting, especially the last like 20-25 minutes is just really crazy. And there's like a bunch of like gunfights in this factory, or like where they have this like facility or this organization. So that's really cool. Like I said, the downside of this film is like the opening, or like the first 25 minutes, that kind of went a little bit sluggish, but I know for a fact that they wanted to establish the characters in that way, probably. One thing also I have to mention before saying anything else about this film is that it's categorized as a horror film on IMDb and pretty much everywhere I look. But keep in mind, this is way more of an action film than a horror film. I used to assume it's categorized as a horror because it was released by Trauma DVD, which is also really, really good. I really like some of these Trauma releases in general because they usually have Lloyd Kaufman making an intro of the film before like the film begins, and he is so funny. I love these introductions by him. So that's another reason why I really like some of these Trauma DVDs. But overall, though, I think this is a really underrated film in general. I mean, I don't really hear a whole lot of people talk about this one. I can highly recommend this one if you're into these type of low budget action type films. Like I said before, it's categorized as a horror film, but it's way more of an action film. So yeah, keep that in mind. Overall, I would say this is a 6 out of 10. Pretty interesting premise, and really liked most of the cast. I think the most of the cast did a really good job, except for ironically the the director of this, who also played the main role, Ross Hagen. So that's really the downside of the film, and overall, I think this is a very underrated film in general. So yeah, I was gonna say something else about this one, but as for like blood or gore effects, you don't really have too much of that. You have some interesting bits here and there, but it's not really like super gore, super brutal, or anything like that. It's more of like a mystery thriller, or crime thing more than anything else. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this one. But yeah, really entertaining. 6 out of 10 for Merchants of Death. So there you go. Yeah, that's my review for Merchants of Death. Hope you enjoyed this particular video. I try to cover as much as I can with the film, like technical stuff, like lighting and stuff like that. Discuss that from time to time if it's worth discussing. But yeah, check this one out if you're into other like trauma produced or trauma released films in general. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this particular video. I'm trying to make more horror review videos. It just takes, I mean, I just pretty much I really need to make them right after I've watched the film, because sometimes my memory is just the worst, so I'd kind of forget about films from every now and then. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye bye.